Things that all trans people should stop doing in 2026. I got six for you. Um, One of the biggest ones for me is stop apologizing for your existence. And guess what? You also take up space. What does that mean? We, as a people, everybody takes up space, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with you taking up space. And we have spent so much time apologizing, feeling guilty, feeling the shame. We've done it to ourselves. We heap all of that guilt and shame onto ourselves, and then we spend so much time apologizing for it. Stop. It's got to end. That beating yourself up constantly, it's doing nothing good for you. Um, Worrying about things that are out of your control. This is another one that we have to stop doing. One of my favorite sayings is, "It is what it is," and it's not, I'm giving up kind of thing, but more the realization that you can't control everything. Not everything is going to go your way, and things that are out of your control, things that you have no say into how they're going to go. A lot of people spend so much time agonizing about X, Y, or Z. And as a result of that, they're not able to really live in the present. And that is such a difficult place because then it's really taking up spoons out of your life. It's emptying your cup, whatever metaphor you want to use. But the point is, if you're worrying about it and you have no control over it, what that does is it puts you into a spiral. And it's a spiral that's not going to allow you to actually live in the present and actually take control of the things that you can actually influence and impact. So stop worrying about things that you cannot do anything about. And that is harder done than said, obviously, but honestly, it is worthwhile endeavor to try. Um, Maybe even the biggest one of all of these things is putting everyone else's happiness or comfort above your own. It kind of goes back to this stop apologizing for your existence. But the one thing I have learned in all of my conversations with all the trans women that I talk to is we are a very generous group of people. Always worrying about other people's happiness, other people's comfort. So much so that we bend ourselves out of shape. We bend ourselves so out of shape, in fact, that we aren't even remotely the person that we present ourselves to be and the person that we actually are so incredibly different. We call that masking, where we wear the mask of what we think other people find acceptable. And we do this to protect ourselves because we don't want to allow our vulnerability because we're worried that everyone's not going to accept us. But the reality is, 1 second of a real life is worth a lifetime of a fake one. So, better to be with people who actually love you, not love the masked version of you. But that also means, you know, I love this analogy of the cups. If you fill from an empty cup, guess what? You're not doing very much. And a lot of trans people, what they do is they give of themselves constantly over and over and over again, but they never actually fill their own cup. This isn't narcissism. This is actually very much the opposite. It's I do the first thing I do in the morning is I go to the gym. I know that I have done that thing for me that is good for my mental health and it makes me feel good about myself. And then what I do is I can give of myself again because now I feel like I have a full cup. So if you are a generous type, and I know you are, make sure you give yourself, something that fulfills you, and then it's so much easier to give of yourself. Um, Giving up on your happy life, happy ending, whatever you want to call it. A lot of us, this goes back to this concept of discomfort tolerance. And a lot of us, dysphoria kind of forces our hand and it starts the transition in a lot of ways for so many people, so many of us, not all of us, but for a lot of us. And then you start transitioning and you start feeling some gender euphoria and it's amazing and all of that great stuff. And then at some point your tolerance for the discomfort of maybe where you've kind of stopped in your transition, kind of you've kind of reached an acceptable level of discomfort. And so my challenge to you is to not give up. Not give up on what else is up there, what else is out there. There's so much more growth. If I had said in my transition, I transitioned like 6.5 years ago, and physically I transitioned, pretty quickly. Like, by 2 years in, I was like done physically transitioning for the most part. But the internal work, that was that was the real work. I can tell you, I promise you that. And that work has been so incredibly fulfilling. And it really kind of points to the fact that your transition never really ends. And the more work you do, and the more you push for the next best evolution of yourself, that's really where happiness is really all about, right? It's about becoming the best version of you, and kind of like the pressure of a diamond, coal underground, and eventually it makes you a better and better version of yourself, a kinder, more empathetic, sweeter, nicer, gentler version of yourself, one that can do so much more good. And don't give up on that happy life. Don't just end at happy-ish. You didn't transition just to end up at happy-ish. Ugh, work for it. It never ends, and the good work never ends. And as long as you keep on working towards that person, honestly, there's so much more out there. Oh, this is one that a lot of trans girls need to really stop doing in 2026, is accepting toxic or shitty behavior from family and friends. Oh, put an end to it. Boundaries, people, boundaries. Boundaries are for the people you love, not for the people you don't love. The people you don't love and you don't want in your life, that's just kick you out the door, bye bye, never speak to you again. Boundaries are for the people you love. And good boundaries make good relationships. If your friends or family are treating you like shit and are toxic and are, misgendering you and not respecting you and not showing you love, compassion, empathy, and all that other good stuff, and you are on the other side doing all of that stuff, stop accepting shitty behavior from people just because they are related to you by blood or they were your friends in the past. Stop that behavior. Push all the toxic energy out of your life and bring all the good energy into your life. Your life will change in the most dramatic of ways. I've seen that in my own life. I'm surrounded by so much good energy, and I push out all the toxic energy, and now my life is surrounded by good energy. And that is a direct result of boundaries. So do that. And maybe the last one is stop bullying yourself. I know. We all do it. Every single person in the world does this thing. We bully ourselves. No one can bully me as well as I can bully myself. And I'm sure that sentence rings true for pretty much everyone in the world, except the actual narcissist. So stop bullying yourself, because either you are your biggest bully or you are your biggest, ally and supporter. Stop bullying yourself. Start talking to yourself nicely. I just saw this meme on Instagram and it was talking about this, and it was saying if you look for the good, your brain actually rewires itself and looks for more good. And if you look for the bad and you complain and search for the negative, your brain will rewire itself to look for the negative. So let's work on that positive rewiring and not the negative rewiring. And trans girls, let's stop all of these behaviors, and honestly, your life will change in a drastic and really profound positive way.